Talking about them playoff Pistons, man. Not postseason as it relates to the play-in. They've already gotten things figured out. And we got to put this stuff on wax for at least the Wake Up Woodward family as well when you're talking about your keys to victory in your series predictions. So, you know what, Flannel Sam? I'm going to go to you first, man, to kick it off with yours. And I do have some three keys to victory for the Detroit Pistons.
You know, then I'll give three keys as well. First key, this is simple. Cade is better than Brunson. That's it. That's all. He's got to outplay him. I think that he will. But to get deeper into it, I think my second key is for the Pistons to execute in the half court. We know that possessions get less, the game slows down a bit. I know that the Pistons have a great transition, defense leads to offense, but you're going to need to execute in the half court, whether it's players moving off the ball, whether it's pick and rolls, whether it's Cade just creating for himself, whether it's giving it to Tobias on the low block and he goes to work. Executing in the half court is going to be critical, and it's something that I think young, newer playoff teams, there might even be an inner series learning curve. We shall see, but they do have Cade Cunningham, who is a demon in the half court. And my third key is limit Karl-Anthony Towns as much as you can. Preferably have him turn back into last year's Western Conference Finals Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to hold him to an average of 12 points and 9 rebounds or something like that, but limit the efficiency, limit his three-point shooting, turn him over if you can, and just bother him. As I said at the beginning, I want Karl-Anthony Towns, when he closes eyes to go to sleep, have Isaiah Stewart there in his dreams just going like, boo. You've seen it. Isaiah Stewart is just an energy guy. He just is a madman when it comes to, I know who I have to stop. I'm going to key in on him. And we all know Isaiah Stewart, even if he's not always on Cat, is a damn good rim protector as well. So I guess to summarize, Cade is better than Brunson, half-court offense, defense on Cat. Those are my three keys.
I love what you said there, and there's going to be definitely obviously some overlap there because it plays into a lot of the Pistons' strengths. And you start there with Cade Cunningham. And that's where I'm going to say this. It's kind of a hybrid. It's pound the paint. The Detroit Pistons, and we said this on our preview show, they outscored their opponent in the paint in 30 straight freaking games.
People don't talk about that enough. That's insane.
It's
and I understand that it's a different game than it used to be, but 30, that's almost half a season.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane, and it put them in historic air. Nobody in this era of basketball has done that. There's 5 other teams, and you got to go back into some 19s to be able to find those other top 4 teams with that stat. And it's absolutely crazy when you think about it. And they are second in the NBA with 57.6 points per game since January 25th, averaging a margin of 11.7 points. That's plus 11.7 points over their opponents. And this is where it gets very interesting. Who's leading that charge? Cade motherfucking Cunningham, bro. Cade is ranked 5th in the NBA with 14.2 points per game during that stretch where they outscored their opponent 30 straight games in the paint. 49% of their points came from there as well. And Cade overall leads Detroit in points in the paint this season with 12.7 points per game, second most among guards, only behind Shai Gilgeous, and good for 10th in the NBA. When you talk about who Cade Cunningham has been as a player against the New York Knicks, largely 33 points per game, almost 10 assists and 6 rebounds in Madison Square, and they got to play a couple games to kick off the series there. And overall, about 31 points, almost 8.5 assists and 5 rebounds. Cade's going to be able to have his way, especially when you got players who are wondering and probably questioning, are we up for this challenge? They haven't been yet, and the word is, they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that just Cade doesn't beat them. And I just don't believe that you're going to be able to do that. This is where my key number 2 is play your game and don't force the issue. Cade will get blitzed and get blitzed a lot, but he's used to that. This has been something since his rookie season where they started to realize, oh, you're going to have to hedge. You're going to have people looking because his usage rate is high and his effect on the game overall is just that much higher. But when you talk about the Pistons, you hear people talk about their fast pace and their transition. And that they do. They're second in the league in transition points. They are first in the league in points off turnovers. And it's a big part of the offense, going defense to offense. J.B. Bickerstaff said it is their best offense. But there's a lot of people who I think sometimes they overblow a little bit of, can they perform in the half-court offense? Let's check this out. The Pistons run a pick and roll play for the ball handler on 19.5 possessions per game. That's ninth most in the NBA. They run a pick and roll play for the roll man on 5.4 possessions per game. That's 25th in the NBA. And they run a play with the shooter coming off a screen of 5.1 possessions per game, which is sixth most in the NBA. Most team screen assists per game. Do you know who leads that?
Is it the Pistons?
It's the Detroit Pistons at 24.7 points per game. The teams behind them, Cleveland Cavaliers at 23.8, so they're a whole point up per game. That's hard to do over a course of a season, man.
Best team in the East.
Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, and ironically, the Charlotte Hornets. And the screen assists per game, 10.4 per game for those Detroit Pistons. And that's why I say, just play your game. What that shows is that if K gets blitzed, this team has been, they've proven to be able to pick him up, hit the open shots, get to the rim, get to the rack and such. And then that third key for me, it's communication and awareness defensively, especially in the pick and rolls. You can't lose the shooters, as the Knicks are a top 5 team in the NBA at field goal percentage and free throw percentage. So if you lose them on defense, guess what? They're knocking down the free throws. And we've seen the Pistons be broken this season in some games because they couldn't perform in the clutch making their own free throws, let alone putting other people on the line to hit some free throws. And so those are my at least 3 of my keys. Obviously, there's a whole lot more we can run down, but when I kind of zeroed in, it was really be yourselves, Detroit Pistons. You've proven in the regular season 3-1. Cade Cunningham has proven he has just the secret sauce. Shout out to Dr. Pierce to be able to battle against those New York Knicks and come away very favorably, because we can expand this to his 6 games in Madison Square. It's amazing run that he's had. It's been one of his, when they show those stats like Kobe against all the different teams, the New York Knicks is a favorite of Cade's, man. So just be yourself, do the pick and roll, get into your defensive identity, don't be satisfied, and be that team that if you get punched in the mouth, if this thing just so happens to go off the rails a little bit, continue to be that same team that started off 0-4 and said, this is not who we are. Bounce back, and that's what I expect from this team.
Well said. I think all of our keys are pretty much in alignment with each other. We almost just kind of set them differently, and I love to see that. But before we move on to what's trending, how about we go around the room and give our final predictions for the series? And you know what? Let's start with me and then end with you, Kool-Aid. Let's do a little.
Hey, let's rock. Let's rock.
Yes. I got the Pistons in 6. I think Cade Cunningham is going to have his real national coming out party. I think that he finishes with an efficient. I'm not going to call for a point total, but I'm calling for 60% true shooting and also at least 9 assists per game. I think that's how he's going to be more important. I think he's better than Jalen Brunson. I think he's an absolute matchup nightmare because of his size, his ability to get into the paint, and the Knicks don't really have. Well, Mitchell Robinson could give them trouble, but he doesn't play very many minutes. I think that's going to be a key, and I think there's going to be a couple of games where I'm calling for, even though I like him as a player more than most, I'm calling for a couple of games where Karl Anthony Towns maybe goes 5 of 15 from the floor, 1 of 6 from behind the arc, and maybe 8 rebounds. You know, how often he does in the playoffs, and I think Isaiah Stewart will have a lot to do with that. And another person who I expect to have a huge series, and he certainly needs to after talking like he did, Malik Beasley is basically going to play his game, be the 6th man of the year that he was in the regular season in the playoffs, give you about 16 to 18 per game on 40+% from behind the arc. So that will carry the Pistons, all of those things, to beating the New York Knicks in 6 games. JB.
I really wanted to go Pistons in 6 with this one, but I think I'm going to take it a step further. Give me Pistons in 5.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to do Pistons in 5 just for the simple fact that, they are stepping into a playoffs, the unknown boundary for some of these players as well, too. So there's going to be a little bit of nerves in one of these games. It might be game 1, or hell, it might be, your home opener here, or your home game, playoff game here, that, you're just, uneasy about some things, therefore. But still, I'll give me Pistons in 5. Kate, this is all on you. As Kool-Aid, as you said before, you don't have to change anything that you're doing. Just be you out there. Continue being you. If you see an open lane or an open shot, take it. There is no need for you to second guess anything out there. I know you want to be, a role player and get all your teammates involved, but sometimes you don't have to do that as well too. control, tempo, and transition. Pistons, you play at a very fast pace, and that's what the Knicks thrives on as well too, those transition plays. So just control that and be aggressive in the paint. To assert yourself. Cat is going to be down there, and Beef Stew, you are going to be a key contributor into just harassing this man all game long. So just continue on that path, and honestly, you guys can knock the Knicks off, move on, get some rest, get ready for Boston.
In 5 games, man.
5, man. Jeez, what up, though, Kavasi? He look like he's serious in that booth right now.
Yeah,
What
no,
up,
I
bro?
mean, I'm with JB. I was at the skate park last week. I hit a little 50-50 grind, front side and back side.
This is braided up Cavassier energy right now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I hit it front side and back side, so I'm going to call it like JB, Pistons in 5.
My man said front side and back side. Dog.
I hope you guys are right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope I'm right too. It doesn't matter the games, but Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir. Look, I'm gonna say Pistons in 7. You know, I know that this team is going to have to find their footing. I do believe that they have a great opportunity to win one in New York to start this series off. But I do believe and I do respect those players on the other side and Coach Thibodeau, who has had the Pistons number for a long time. But this is no longer those teams of the past. I believe it's going to be a good series, a competitive series. When you look at all the stats, this team is these two teams are very evenly matched up. Very, very evenly matched up. The Pistons do have the advantage, though, as it relates to toughness, physicality, play in the paint, defense at the rim, and ultimately I believe that that's what's going to give this team the edge. Who they are in the paint where grit matters and who their star is, being the best player in this series. The one thing that they're going to have to do, and it's a mandate, we gave this mandate to Michigan basketball. You cannot take out the big musket and shoot yourself in the foot. Ryan's reaction, Kool-Aid, over under on Pistons game 1 turnovers. Cade and his team are going to have to do everything in their power to make sure these possessions are precious, because you said it earlier, these possessions, they dwindle. Your transition opportunities go down. Some of the things you like to do goes down. The whistles are swallowed just a little bit more. But this team has played through a lot of this type of stuff already, and that's what gives me a lot of confidence that they're going to be ready for this opportunity.
We've all got Pistons across the board.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Who's the
Randall's
best
calling
coach
us
in
out,
this
too.
series?
The best coach in this series.
That's a good one.
That's a JB Bickerstaff will overtake Tom Thibodeau in this series.
You're thinking like me. I was like, I
Yeah,
believe
I've
this
got the
series is
Pistons
going to
winning.
prove
Yeah,
that it's
yeah.
JB Bickerstaff.
No, and I got a lot of respect for Tibbs. He's been damn good in the league for a long time, and with the Bulls, with the Knicks, with the Timberwolves, they've won playoff series. It's just never able to get any team he has over the top, and I think that continues this year. And we all know he has a reputation for wearing his players out.
Man, I can't wait. I'm pumped up. It is cool to see how bullish people are in chat, family. I know we're going to talk more and more about this. Tap in with us, though. Tap in tomorrow. We got a lot of Pistons content coverage. Watch the post game.